the station that is local for you. NBC4 at 6 starts now.
Bright and sunny in some parts of central Ohio and thunderstorm watches in effect for others. Thanks for joining us tonight at 6. I'm Katie Farrell. Let's get right to Storm Team 4 meteorologist Ben Gelber, who is tracking these storms. And Ben, folks have a lot of outdoor plans tonight. What do we need to know?
Katie, I think we're going to be in good shape. We've had some active weather here in the past hour or two if you've been outside. And you can see this long boundary of showers and storms, but there definitely has been a shift off to the east. That's a thunderstorm watch for parts of eastern Ohio into Pennsylvania. That's a tornado watch for southeastern Pennsylvania through Delaware. And not too long ago, we had thunderstorm warnings here in Franklin and Madison and Pickaway counties for this cluster of storms. But look how it has fallen apart. There were some reports of pea-sized hail with several of these cells marching off to the south and east. Temperatures soaring into the mid-80s and that boundary settling here, but only in the 50s and 60s to the north. We had warnings in Perry County earlier. That storm has now moved past I-77. So with this general weakening trend, that bodes well for your evening plans. We can zoom in on the showers and storms in Fayette County, but even those are weakening back toward Wilmington, and they will push into Ross County, maybe clip western Pickaway County, but nothing for the metro area. And there's a closer look at the activity moving past Cambridge and to the east of Athens. So it's been a kind of a classic pop-up scenario, and the storm risk that we have this evening for those storms moving away now for hail, high wind, lightning, and rain. Notice not showing anything here in the way of rotation. Pretty much we can stamp this for tomorrow, too, as we get some pop-up storms. We still have a severe thunderstorm watch. This is for the eastern portion of the state until 11. We'll see if it lasts that long, but we still have a few strong storms, as you saw now to the east of Cambridge and McConnelsville. Boy, is that front sag south. It's 58 at Marion and still 86 at Piketon. So it's pretty obvious what's going on here. And through the evening hours, again, a few showers and storms off to the south, a lingering shower or two here and there at 9, and then we'll see that cold front go south of Franklin County at 11, and by then we'll be down to 64. And Katie, a lot of this had to do with that high of 87 we got within 3 of a record high, and that's the warmest we've been this year. More on the weather coming up in a few minutes.
Oh, feels so good out there, Ben, finally. Thank you. You can track the storms as they move through central Ohio on our free Storm Team 4 weather app. Get access to live Viper radar and weather alerts on your smartphone or tablet. Just search NBC4 WX in your app store to start downloading. We're following some breaking news right now out of Paris, where yet another knife attack has happened, this time near the Paris Opera. French investigators say at least one person is dead, 4 others are injured. Police tweeted that the attacker has also died, taken down by officers. Paris has been on high alert in recent years after a string of deadly Islamic extremist attacks. It was 1 year ago today the tragedy in Kirkersville happened. Thomas Hartless gunned down Police Chief Eric Desario and 2 women at a nearby nursing home, Marlena Medrano and Cindy Krantz. He then killed himself. Medrano and Hartless's ex-girlfriend. Well, right now the tiny Licking County village is gathering to remember those victims from that horrifying day. And that's where NBC4's Dan Pearlman is tonight. He joins us from that service. Dan.
Yeah, Katie, you know, it really is very hard to believe that Main Street here in Kirkersville 1 year ago today was that crime scene. But as you see, the scene here today is one of remembrance. If you take a look at that fence, or I'm sorry, that bench, as we speak, members of this town are unveiling the memorial bench in honor of Chief Eric Desario, who again was killed on this day in the line of duty 1 year ago today. Desario was one of 3 victims that day. Marlena Medrano, who was in a relationship at the time with Hartless, and Cindy Krantz were also killed. All of these people who you are looking at right now, here to remember the 3 of them. The crime scene itself just right down the street over there at the Pine Kirk Care Center. Still not open, but if you take a look over there, you can still see that there are signs remembering the 3 people who were killed here in Kirkersville, again, 1 year ago today. So we are going to take a break for just a minute and head on across the street to the ceremony, get a closer look at that bench. And of course, we're going to have much more on everything happening today in Kirkersville for you tonight at 11. Local for you in Kirkersville, Dan Pearlman, NBC4.
A nice tribute, Dan. Thank you. Well, Cindy Krantz's daughter, one of the victims, her name's Allison Burnett, and she said that her family doesn't shy away from talking about what happened that day. She also says they don't keep away from coming back to the scene where her mother died. NBC4's Sean Lanier spoke with her ahead of today's solemn anniversary, and he has her story tonight.
When they told me they thought it was her, that's something I replay in my mind all the time, but really just the whole day. I just think about it constantly.
It's a day, a memory that will live with Allison Burnett forever.
I was trying to call my mom on the way here to make sure she was okay, but she wasn't answering, but it was during morning rounds, so I thought maybe she was just doing her job, not on her phone, you know.
May 12th, 2017, the day Thomas Hartless gunned down her mom, Cindy Krantz, along with Kirkersville Police Chief Eric DeSario and Marlena Medrano, who was a nurse at the Pinekirk Care Center, where reminders of the tragic event are still visible. Allison shared with me the moment when an officer on scene said to her,
"There were 3 people inside that were deceased, and they believed one of them was my mom."
So she waited at the Kirkersville United Methodist Church and even outside the crime scene for hours, waiting for her mother to be positively identified.
It was very frustrating.
1 year later, that frustration has gone away. Allison, who was pregnant at the time, is now focused on her family, but doesn't forget her mom, and she still visits the place where everything happened. She says she doesn't hold on to anger from that day, but she does take away one positive moment from that tragedy.
It's crazy how together the community got after it and how awesome they treated us.
And for complete coverage over the past year of the tragedy in Kirkersville, go to NBC4i.com. Well, Columbus police have identified a woman killed in a crash last night. This happened on Livingston Avenue near Cunard Road. Officers say a 61-year-old Carolyn Childers drove her motorized wheelchair in the road, and that's when she was hit by a 46-year-old man. She died a short time later at the hospital. This is the city's 28th traffic-related fatality this year. Ahead of next month's historic meeting between President Trump and Kim Jong-un, North Korea continues to take unprecedented action, steps to not only benefit the North Korean people, but bring some peace of mind to the rest of the world. Ahead of next month's historic meeting between President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, the dictator continues to show more willingness to interact with the rest of the free world. Humanitarian aid may soon be coming to hundreds of thousands of North Koreans, many who are starving.
We're working with them to address their food security issues. And I do believe with a lot more work and support from around the world, we'll be able to make a difference.
The head of the UN's World Food Program says he got unprecedented access to North Korea during a 4-day visit there this week. The program has a goal to feed 650,000 women and children. And just today, the country announced it will dismantle its nuclear test site later this month. Journalists from the United States, South Korea, China, Russia, and Britain are being invited to inspect the process. Analysts say the closure of the site is mostly symbolic and doesn't represent a material step toward denuclearization. Kim Jong-un and President Trump will meet in Singapore June 12th. Back here at home, a local nonprofit is harvesting hope for adults with autism. It's called Lettuce Work. That's Lettuce work, and it's a program that puts young autistic adults to work in a commercial greenhouse. As we found out, these men and women leave with a lot more than just gardening skills. NBC4's Elyse Chengery has more.
Money from Lettuce Work goes to support the employment and job coaching to students here with autism. And now the Sharps say this is much more than just agriculture. It's teaching these students to be more independent, work with supervisors, and prepare them for their dream career, whatever that may be.
It's a great experience working here. I like helping people a lot. Having my first job is one of my favorite things to do, and it's better than playing video games at home.
Christian Purnell says he's learning a lot, which will help him with his own business one day.
I'm hoping to open my own business, dog grooming and training, but this is just a way to get my job earnings and just fill out my resume.
This is exactly what the Sharps are hoping students learn from Lettuce Work, as the cause has an important meaning to their family.
Our son, who's 17, was diagnosed with autism when he was 3, so we wanted to start thinking about what could he do so that he's actually participating in society and working and not just sitting at home in the basement playing video games. We soon found out that there are not a lot of services for adults with autism once they graduate from school.
So they developed this program to train students. And Doug Sharp says a typical day consists of 6 students on site.
It kind of warms my heart to see them out here working, and they take such pride in the work that they do, and they're very dependable, and so we've had great experience with them. If we give them the right training and other employers give give them a chance. It can really work out really well for both of them.
To learn even more about lettuce work and find out the hours that you can come here, I've placed a link there on our website, NBC4i.com. Local for you in New Albany, Elyse Chengery, NBC4.
That's awesome. Great idea. Thank you, Elyse. Lawyers for a Cleveland hospital are trying to squash lawsuits from people who lost eggs and embryos. This, of course, happened back in March when a storage tank failed at the hospital's fertility clinic. Kevin Freeman reports.
This is such cynical, despicable conduct by this hospital. They should be ashamed.
Attorney Tom Merriman says he received this court motion late Friday afternoon. Lawyers for university hospitals are asking a judge to dismiss the first 2 of nearly 4 dozen lawsuits filed against it. The lawsuits were filed after a catastrophic failure in a storage tank destroyed 4,000 embryos at the hospital's fertility clinic in March.
And they did it just before Mother's Day. Think about that message to people. You wanted to be a mother. We feel so bad about that. But you don't have a lawsuit because we think you have to file this kind of lawsuit.
University Hospital says it continues to offer clinical and emotional support to affected patients. In a statement, hospital officials say, quote, when a lawsuit is filed, Ohio law requires that all medical claims be accompanied by an affidavit of merit. In this matter, the plaintiff's attorneys did not file the necessary documentation. So, we have asked the court to dismiss the claims that were not properly supported when filed in keeping with Ohio law.
UH hasn't turned over any records. They haven't answered any discovery. How do you go out and find an expert who can provide an affidavit of merit that says they fell below the standard of care? They won't even tell us who was responsible in the lab for this tragedy.
I can't say it any more plainly. We failed our fertility clinic patients. We are sorry. I am sorry.
Soon after the incident, University Hospital's CEO, Tom Zinti, issued an apology.
They put out a video where he apologizes, take responsibility. They put Dr. Liu on camera to apologize, take responsibility. They send letters. It's all garbage.
A 113-year-old woman, yes, 113. She's from Cleveland Heights, Ohio, and she is now the oldest person living in America. Her name is Elyse Brown, following Thursday's passing of a 114-year-old woman from Pennsylvania. Elyse now takes that title. Get this, she lives in a high-rise apartment with her 88-year-old daughter and her grandson. She's known as Big Mommy to 5 generations, including dozens of grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and great-great-grandchildren. Absolutely amazing. Lives with her daughter, who's nearly 90. Congratulations to her. New tonight, Academy Award nominated actor Michael Keaton was in Ohio today. He actually gave Kent State University's commencement speech to more than 3,000 graduates there. The actor, who attended Kent State more than 30 years ago, gave advice to students about taking risks and not being afraid to mess up or make mistakes.
I'm looking out at you and your generation and your little brothers and your little sisters and those kids down in Parkland, Florida, and I'm thinking to myself, they ain't waiting for anybody. Don't you wait for anyone. You are the world. You are the change.
Awesome. Keaton's most notable works include his role as the Caped Crusader in Batman, of course, as well as leading roles in Birdman and Spotlight, 2 films that won the Academy Award for Best Picture in back-to-back years. And of course, one of my favorites, First Daughter. I'm embarrassed to admit that. I love that movie, though. All right, are you as excited as I am? The royal wedding now exactly 1 week away, and the English town of Windsor, where Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will marry, is bustling. Tourists from all over the world are arriving there to visit the castle while preparations are still ongoing. Many roads have been repaved, street signs are being repainted, and storefronts are decked out with life-size cutouts of Harry and Meghan. Tens of thousands of people are expected in Windsor on the couple's big day.
Well, it's really exciting. So I'm here with my parents today. They've never been to England. I've been once, but never to Windsor. So it's really exciting to be able to see where the wedding's going to happen and all of that. So it'll be pretty cool.
More than 1 billion, yes, billion with a B, people across the world are expected to watch Prince Harry. And if you want to be one of them, tune in to NBC4 at 4:30 a.m. Yep, 4:30 a.m. The team at the Today Show, Savannah, Hoda, and the gang, they are all heading to England. The wedding starts at noon UK time, and they are 5 hours ahead of us I can't wait. I'm having a watch party that early. We'll see if I actually get up. Well, if you still haven't made Mother's Day plans for tomorrow, you might want to consider the zoo. That's because the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium is offering free admission to mothers and grandmothers this Sunday, May 13th. Mothers and grandmothers who are accompanied by at least one of their children or grandchildren get in free, no matter the age of the child or the grandchild. That's great. And if you're not a mama yet, but you want to become one, well, thank Franklin County Animal Shelter. They are encouraging you to become a dog mom this weekend. You can discover the meaning of unconditional love, they say, and adopt an adult dog through their shelter. And adoption fees are waived on all adult dogs through Monday. Their gift to you. As of yesterday, they had more than 90 dogs waiting for new dog moms to adopt them. And speaking of pups, today we are introducing you to our Max's Mission Puppy Cam. We will be live streaming a special litter of puppies and their mama as they grow over the next few weeks and follow them into adoption. They're known as the Chef's Litter. There are 3 boys and 2 girls staying with a foster through Rescued Ohio, and we will watch them grow, and once they are old enough and spayed or neutered, they will be up for adoption. Keep an eye out for these cuties during our broadcasts, and you can check them out online whenever you want or on our website, NBC4i.com. Just click on the Puppy Cam live feed. Well, it is, of course, Mother's Day weekend, and here at NBC4, some of the weekend crew wanted to take a moment to wish our moms a very happy Mother's Day. Take a look.
Hi, Mom. I clearly work a lot, but just so you know, I keep our family photo right here and Henry's photo. I can't thank you enough for watching him when I work long hours, but most of all, thank you for teaching me to be confident, hardworking, and to always treat people the way I want to be treated. I try to make you proud every day. Oh, and also, thanks for all those years of going to all of my softball games. I think parents remember you as having the loudest voice cheering in the stands. Love you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
Here's a poem for you, Mom. Thanks for thinking the sun shines out of my face, but also knowing when to put me in my place. You're the most selfless person I know, and now so does all of Central Ohio. Happy Mother's Day, Franny Varconi. I love you.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom in heaven. I know you're watching me and keeping an eye on my forecast. You inspired me in the weather, science, and the arts to follow my dreams. Miss you, Mom, and love you.
Now, Storm Team 4 with Central Ohio's most accurate forecast.
Aw, Ben, I love your tribute to your mom. That was so sweet.
And she maintained my weather readings when I came out here, so we have a continuous data set because that's now in the archives of the National Weather Service back in Pennsylvania. So
that's fantastic. Thinking of her today and all the moms out there. I can't wait to see my greeting in just a little bit. And we want to say thank you for watching. If you're joining us online, this is the first time we're doing this, trying out this virtual newscast. So I see a few dozen of you on there. So hey, thanks for watching. Weigh in, tell us what you like, maybe what you want to see on the news, and we'll take your suggestions. And great. I've already been virtual much of the afternoon because we had 2 Facebook Lives tracking 2 waves of thunderstorms. And Katie, we did get some warnings. The storms kind of behaved in that we didn't see any damage. We did have hail 1.5 inches in diameter in Adena. That's over Jefferson County near the West Virginia border. We did have a 55-mile-per-hour wind gust in London. Wow. So that's something we'll have to watch out for again, I think, on Mother's Day. And I got to tell you, I was in Cleveland this morning. It was in the 50s there. My parents were at the Indians game, and it's just 2-hour difference. At one time today, it was 50 in Toledo and Ashtabula and almost 90 in Portsmouth. Wild. So, and that boundary is our problem. But let's show you what's happening outside right now. And things have settled down after a kind of a rocky hour and a half ago when some gusty storms clipped the southern portion of Franklin County, triggering warnings in Madison and Pickaway and southwest Franklin. They've already pushed into south central Ohio and weakened. A thunderstorm watch to the east, a tornado watch, and look at these big storms heading toward Philadelphia and Washington, and some scattered storms back up the line through northeast Indiana. So it's one long boundary. As Katie mentioned, much chillier. We'll show you those temperatures in the north. But that boundary has set us up for some active weather. But things are beginning to settle down for the evening. Showers and storms are south of 70. Again, these at one point were warned storms, but not anymore. We did have some reports of small hail with several of these. Western Pickaway County getting a shower now, maybe a quick downpour. A little heavier rain around Washington Courthouse. That'll sag down into Ross County. Stronger storms I was tracking off to the east have now pushed to the east of McConnellsville and Cambridge, although still one pretty decent cell over by Noble County. All that's going to move on to the east, and this is the area still under a thunderstorm watch until 11 o'clock because we have a little ripple going through the atmosphere, kind of stirring things up. But before that happened, before the rain hit, 87 in Columbus, 88 Chillicothe, our warmest day of the year so far.
As Katie said, different world. You don't even have to go to Cleveland. Just go to Marion. It's 58, still 87 at Piketon. We've dropped about 10 to 15 degrees since the rain came in. See how the winds now are north-northwest? So you hit that boundary, and then they're westerly. So the boundary is now south of I-70. Net result, you can see the bank of clouds off to the south and a gradual drop in temperature. 77 still quite warm. This is June weather, but a little bit better than we were an hour ago. North wind at 10, but then it gets really crazy up by Detroit. 50, Buffalo 62, Chicago 48, and we want to wish everyone a very happy Mother's Day. As far as the weather is concerned, that same boundary is going to be hanging around. So with that in mind, I think it's going to be the same kind of forecast. We could have a shower late tonight through very early tomorrow, but I think we'll start to dry out by after 8 in the morning. And then a little cloudier tomorrow during the midday, 74. And depending upon how much heating we get, cloudier skies would be better for us. We get a little bit of sun, we could pop a late afternoon thunderstorm, and we'll be a few degrees lower than today, but pretty close. So here's that boundary this evening, and as it kind of stalls to our south, we may have one more round of showers and storms fire up in northeast Indiana. So while we'll quiet down this evening, this could push through toward daybreak. That's why I kept a shower in the 8 a.m. forecast. These are going to dissipate pretty quickly during the midday, but still the chance of a shower up until lunchtime, but temperatures not warming as quickly. And then with one more wave, showers and storms, but tomorrow, the better chance will be for the southern third of the state, where the boundary comes right back up on Monday and Tuesday, and so we'll be right back into showers and storms. Tuesday, the boundary goes far enough north that we'll get into the mid-80s. That may be our warmest day of the week. But look at the rain potential. We could get locally a half inch to an inch of rain. So tonight, scattered storms now off to the south, 61. Could see another round toward morning of showers at least. And then for Mother's Day, a shower early, a storm late, in between a few dry hours, and about 78, 84 on Monday. And Katie, it's going to be the same almost every day this week. Pop-up storms, mid to upper 80s, a little bit cooler toward the end of the week, but no break in the rain.
I need the pool to open, Ben.
Well, this is pool weather.
Yeah, we just have to wait a few more weeks. All right, thanks, Ben. Audrey Hassan joins us now with a look at sports. Hey, Audrey.
Hey, Katie. You know, it's a busy weekend in sports. If I can get my...
Here we go. Anyway, in recent years, the NFL pro teams in Ohio, the Bengals and Browns, have overlooked the NFL talent right here at Ohio State. But that changed in this year's NFL draft. 3 former Buckeyes started camp this weekend, hoping to make a good first impression on their NFL coaches. Bengals getting on the field for the opening day of their rookie minicamp this weekend. Center Billy Price was the Bengals' first-round draft pick, so he's the unofficial leader of this group. And Cincinnati's own Sam Hubbard gets to start his pro career with the team for which he grew up cheering. That's pretty neat. Linebacker Chris Worley signed there as a free agent. He's hoping to make a big impression this weekend.
And you got to be a guy who can absorb information and regurgitate it and be that guy. And so I think right now that's the process I'm working on right now, is to be able to absorb as much and spit it back out.
What everyone here is trying to do is make a great first impression. Just because you're not going to make the team this weekend, but it's where everything starts.
I'm not trying to come here and do the filling out process. I'm coming here to compete. That's why they brought me here.
Well, it should be a fun night tonight at Moffray Stadium. Crew SC host their rivals from Chicago, coming off an impressive defensive effort Wednesday night and a 1-0 win over Philly. Columbus unbeaten in its past 4 matches. Also tonight, the Crew will honor former goalkeeper John Bush, who will sign a 1-day contract so he can retire with Columbus. Well, we're just a couple weeks away from the Memorial Tournament, and this week, 2013 Memorial champion and fan favorite Matt Kuchar has committed once again to this year's field of players. This will be his 13th time competing at Muirfield, and out of those, Kuchar has posted 7 top 10 finishes. Also committing former world #1 Adam Scott. No official word yet on Tiger Woods or young stars Jordan Spieth or Justin Thomas, but they expect to hear more commitments in the coming weeks.
We go through this process every year, knowing that we're a great destination for players to come because of the golf course and because of what Jack has created here. But there's anticipation every year, trying to figure out who's injured, who's not, and if they're really going to be able to come and play.
And before the top golfers in the world head to Dublin for the Memorial, they're currently competing in the Players' Championship, and we'll have extensive coverage of the players here on NBC4 this weekend. Live coverage of the final round starts tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Well, Lancaster High School runner Drew Ward stands in a good position to make it to the state meet and track. However, just a few years ago, doctors told Drew he may never run again. Ward was diagnosed with Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome just 4 years ago. It's a rare heart condition when the heart has an extra electrical pathway from the upper and lower chambers, causing a rapid heartbeat. But Drew hasn't let his condition stop him from doing what he loves. Drew Ward runs just like any other talented high school athlete on the track.
I focus on beating my competitors and trying to do as best I can for my team.
But when he was in the 8th grade, running his first cross-country meet of the season, Drew got the scare of a lifetime.
Another parent told me that he had collapsed in the field. At that point, we ran to where he was, and he was unconscious.
They rushed him to the hospital where doctors diagnosed Drew with a heart condition.
That's when we were told he might not ever run again.
I was actually like bawling, like for the first time in a while. I don't usually cry that much because usually I'm just level-headed.
Drew underwent further tests at Nationwide Children's Hospital, and the cardiologist ultimately felt operating on his condition would be more risky.
And they said if they went in that flap, it could have caused a heart attack or a stroke. We said, if this was your child, what would you do? And she goes, I probably wouldn't do it.
So they didn't operate, and just 5 days later, Drew was cleared to run again.
We can't live our lives in fear, and he can't live his life in fear of this happening. So he needs to get out there and do what he loves, which is running.
And now in his junior season, he anchors the 4x800 relay team for the Golden Gales and aims to lead his team to the state tournament.
I just went out like every race, and I just wanted to prove something and prove that the heart condition couldn't keep me from doing what I love to do.
Best of luck to Drew. Love that story. But all 3 of Urban and Shelley Meyer's children signed Division I scholarships. In baseball terms, that's batting 1,000. And it may surprise you to know how much baseball matters to the Meyer family. That's best reflected in the Meyer son, Nate. Sports director Jared Smalley has the story of how the Meyer family shared a special day this past week.
Nate Meyer, accompanied by parents Urban and Shelley Meyer.
Sort of in denial right now, or I would have been sobbing uncontrollably.
She's usually been kind of strong at stuff like this.
I'm saving that for graduation because that's like really the final thing.
Senior Day means flowers and feelings, no matter who you are. Urban Meyer's been through these ceremonies so many times, but only a handful of times as the parent. And baseball is where he bonds best with his son, Nate.
The first time he really stood up, he had a baseball in his hand. He had a little baseball wiffle bat in his hand, and you can play catch with a football, but baseball, that's what I love about the sport. My dad did that with me, and I've done that with him.
He loves to talk about baseball. That's, I think, sometimes his favorite sport.
Having well-known parents comes with some pitfalls, but Nate says his teammates care more about him than his last name. And let's be honest, Nate stood witness to some incredibly cool moments.
I would be on the sidelines during most of his games that he would coach at, MLB games. So like we went to the Yankees game last year when they played the Red Sox. Just a bunch of really cool experiences.
Nate's not only a slugger and fielder, he's also starred as a defensive back for the Watterson football team. Maybe his name attracted attention, but also competitive excellence.
He's just very conscientious and kind and compassionate.
He's been around college athletes and college players and students his entire life, and he's very mature for his age.
Even though that he puts in these long hours, he still finds the time to, come to my games and still be the greatest dad on earth. So we still have this really strong connection.
Love you, bro.
That last shot, Audrey,
I know.
I'm crying.
It's so sweet, especially on this Mother's Day weekend. It's such a good story, too, but their whole family has such a great connection.
Wow.
Yeah.
And to think they're all such great athletes.
Right.
That's just in their blood.
And how he said baseball is his favorite sport.
Yeah,
He's a football
it
coach,
made-
but yeah, he loves watching his son
made
play
me crack
baseball.
up. Great stories tonight, Audrey. Thank you. Those are awesome. All right. Well, we have another batch of NBC4 weekend crew messages for our moms this Mother's Day weekend. Take a look.
Hi, Mom. Thank you for your unending patience, your indispensable advice, and the incredible love you show every day, not only to me, but to everyone you touch in your daily life. I would count myself lucky to have a fraction of your poise, your strength, and the commitment you have to making this world a better place when I grow up. So, happy Mother's Day. I love you. Thank you for everything.
Mom, you are the definition of a good mom. You are the most selfless woman I have ever met. You are patient and you are kind and you are giving and you always make time for us. I can only hope to be half the mom to Tinsley that you have been to me. I love you, Mama. Happy Mother's Day. Aw. So flowers are always a popular choice on Mother's Day, right? But which flowers are in this time of year? Peonies remain a favorite and timely. They are rumored to be the preferred flower of the royal bride to be Meghan Markle. This year, carnations are also back in style. The National Retail Federation predicts Americans will spend upwards of $2.6 billion on flowers for Mom this year. That is...
Yeah, peonies are some of my favorites,
oh,
too.
Gorgeous,
Yeah.
gorgeous, gorgeous. Well, finally tonight, could it be? Is the Long Island iced tea from Tennessee? People in New York say forget about it. A North versus Show throwdown is in the works. NBC's Greg Sergel reports on the dispute.
Bartender Eli Gomez mixes a kickin' Long Island iced tea. It's a drink he says Long Islanders view as their own, invented right here. A belief we confirmed outside the bars on Freeport's Nautical Mile.
Long Island iced tea is from a Long Island boy.
In fact, a Hamptons bartender claimed he invented the drink in the 1970s. But not everyone's buying that story.
We know there are some folks up in New York trying to take claim, but bless their heart.
This video from the Kingsport, Tennessee Chamber of Commerce claims the Long Island iced tea was invented there in the 1920s.
We actually have a Long Island in Kingsport.
Kingsport's assertion amounts to a declaration of war to Freeport bar owner Butch Yamali.
That's a bunch of baloney. That's not true at all.
Yamali is demanding a Long Island iced tea throwdown. What the Long Island bartenders want is a simple, straight-up taste test competition with Tennessee to determine which makes the real Long Island iced tea.
The loser has to go to the winner's bar, clean the bathrooms, clean the bar after the busiest night of the year.
We welcome that challenge. We think this will be a lot of fun.
To be fair, the versions are different. Tennessee's contains whiskey, maple syrup, and lime, while the Long Island version has triple sec and sour mix.
Sorry, Tennessee. This one belongs to us.
Let the mixing begin.
We can't remember the last time we had a Long Island iced tea. We came up with college. So that's
Yeah.
no good.
I remember a few after college, but not too far after college.
And what do you think? Tennessee, New York?
I still think it's Tennessee.
Oh, really?
I wouldn't be surprised. I think Tennessee has a good
Probably
shot.
is, and then.
But you know,
Just been claiming
we
it all
could
these
check
years.
it out.
Right.
We can make
We'll
the
taste
determination.
test. What do you think? All right.
We're up for that. We'd be up for a nice Mother's Day, but I think the best plan for tomorrow is, well, most of the day dry. We know what happened today. Pop-up storms hitting small parts of our area, but any storm can be kind of feisty. So let's take a look at what's happening now. A couple of weakening showers and storms, no warnings, heading down towards Circleville, Washington Courthouse, and over by Summerfield out to the east. Things should settle down this evening. We might see a stray shower or thunderstorm overnight into early Mother's Day, and then we'll brighten up midday, and then with some heating, we'll pop up some afternoon storms. Not quite as warm tomorrow, 78 instead of 87, but the whole week, guys, is going to be pretty much the same. Scattered storms, most of the day dry, but any storm can bring you a downpour and some lightning.
Yeah, you just hit repeat, it looks like up there, Benny.
Makes my job easy, but
Yeah.
we went straight into June. We knew that
Sure
was gonna
did.
happen.
Yeah.
Weird. It's Ohio. We're used to it. Thanks for watching.